Well, we couldn't wrap up our player interviews here from Football Media Day without talking to the quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes, number 13, Sefo Liufau, joining us here for a couple of minutes. And let's just get it out of the way. Let's talk about your feet right off the top here and get it out of the way. How's the foot feeling? How was the offseason and all the recuperation you had to do?
It was good. It was a long process overall, and there were a couple of tough days in there, but I wanted to play this year, and that was kind of the goal. And I made it, so to speak. I just thank the trainers and my parents and everyone that helped me along the way. And, through 2 days of practice, I feel great, 100% and moving.
That's not an easy recuperation, though. I mean, we talked with, Buffs legend Chad Brown had that in his NFL career. So that's a heck of a comeback you got to go through. Very painful.
Yeah, it was tough. There's a lot of times where I'd go in 3, maybe 4 times a day because, it meant so much to me to come back and play with the guys that I came in with and just play my senior year. And, every time it got tough, I just thought about my goal of coming back and playing. And, here we are. It's kind of still like a little bit of shock to me, but, I'm just happy that all my hard work paid off.
It was a strange offseason. Had to be kind of bizarre for you. Not only are you dealing with the foot thing, but there's all kinds of talks about this guy transferring in and this happening. I mean, the whole quarterback thing seemed to be up in the air. Were you knowledgeable about all that stuff? Where were you at with all that when it was going on?
I knew everything pretty much up to date. I didn't really care, to be honest. When Coach said that they were probably bringing someone in, I said, that's fine. Whatever. I'm a team guy. If that was what made the team better, then I was all for it. And, when everything went opposite of what everyone thought, I was fine with that too. It's all water under the bridge to me. I'm just here to play football and ultimately try and go out there and make plays this year.
Well, and in the 3 years I've known you, the other thing I know about you, you're a competitor as well. And so basically, hey, whoever's here and I got to compete against them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ever since my freshman year, compete. Ever since I was young, that's what I've wanted to do, and it doesn't matter kind of what we play. If I'm going putt-putt with my roommates, I'm competitive, which can be bad sometimes. But anyone who comes in, you got to compete and earn your spot.
A fourth-year quarterback. I mean, that's a rarity, number one. You're a 3-year captain, another rarity for this program or any program. But being the guy that's seen so much, they can heap more on you now at this point in your career, can't they? Because you've been out there so many times.
They can, but I don't know what else they can throw at me. I've heard it in front of my face via social media. It's all kind of just whatever they want to say, which is fine.
Well, I guess what I was going to get is more from an offensive standpoint. The coaches can put more on you. That's what I was getting. Not so much that other garbage.
That too. I don't know how much more they can throw on me on an offense perspective. We got a lot of the offense in already, and it hasn't changed over the years a whole lot, but they could throw whatever they want on me. I'm willing and ready to take the burden and try and lead these guys to a great final year.
But does it help you, being that you've seen it all and done it all now, to recognize things, to be able to think the game more?
Yeah, definitely. Having the experience and going through it for 4 years and seeing the teams home and away and kind of their tendencies and all that, it definitely helps. Especially for that first game when you come in as a freshman, you're kind of wild-eyed, and it's like, wow, this is kind of happening. And now it's kind of like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm ready to play. And it's just kind of a job now. And you're just kind of ready for it, and I want to play, and I'm just kind of itching to go.
Lastly, here, I talked with or asked Mike McIntyre during the press conference about late game situations, making plays, and he said, listen, this is not about 13. This is about 13 playing within the system and utilizing the tools around them and other guys doing their job. Is that something quarterbacks got to learn as well, that you don't have to make all the plays? Yeah,
and I think that's something that I've kind of lost in my ways, kind of over the past couple of years, and feeling that you need to make the play because, we've been in a lot of close games recently, and you go out there and you're like, all right, I got to make a play, we don't want to be down for this long. And so, just play in the system, trust my guys, my teammates, because we've got some playmakers, on the offensive side of the ball, and I just got to trust them and know that they'll make the play.
All right, in a few months we're talking bowls, aren't we?
That's the plan.
Not since Ray Finkel has a foot been talked about so much around a football team. Hey, good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, that's Sefo Liufau as we continue here on our Media Day coverage on CUBuffs.com.